Hello everyone, I'm Rabea.
Dave.
And today we're looking at some wicked gear from Darkglass Electronics.
We are indeed.
We are.
Dave.
To Dave indeed. We've got the Vintage Ultra. It's drive pedal. There's a distortion, bass distortion.
Is it a distortion or would it be classed as an overdrive? Because it's kind of more crunchy, isn't it, than
Yeah.
distorted.
I mean, the only reason I said that is because I just read that it says distortion. So it could be classed as an overdrive, could be a distortion, who knows?
I guess, okay, so it's a distortion, and it can get pretty filthy, but I think in comparison to some of their other products, this is a bit more of the kind of crunchier side of things, as opposed to the sort of metal side of things.
True. And if any of you guys don't know who Darkglass are, they're a relatively recent bass guitar, I suppose, amp and pedal company, and they make wicked gear. Dave uses one of their drive pedals, the B7K, don't you?
Indeed. And also the Duality fuzz pedal.
So yeah, essentially what we're doing is just going to go through a couple of tones. We've already shot some stuff of Dave jamming along to some grooves, and yeah, we should find out.
For those of you that don't know who Dave is, I'm Dave.
Yeah, he's Dave. For a start, what bass are you using?
I am using this awesome Ibanez 5-string premium thing. I've forgotten what the code's called. It's something silly, SCR1. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why not give it a name?
I don't know, like 5-string.
Like 5-string.
Yeah.
I'm playing the Ibanez 5-string.
Yes. And in terms of signal chain, what you're hearing is the direct out straight into the Universal Audio Apollo 8P interface. And we're recording it using Logic. Just to point out, in terms of what you're picking up for speech, it's a new Aston Microphones Spirit microphone.
Giving it a little test drive.
We are.
So let us know in the comments below what you think.
Yeah, it's slightly leaning over to Dave's side because he's quieter than I am. So as you can see on the screen, it's just here. Anyway, can you run us through quickly what this pedal does?
Yeah, so essentially you've got a bypass on and off sort of pedal, just as a normal pedal would work, and then you've got a sort of distortion stomp section. So when the pedal's engaged and the distortion's off, you've actually got kind of like an amp EQ section, so you can kind of it's got quite a powerful sort of EQ side to it, so you can use it as a kind of tone carving clean sound.
Okay.
And then you can sort of stomp on your distortion and layer that over the top.
Oh, right.
And then you've got a blend, so you can blend between the two kind of signals. So essentially, I guess it's kind of like either as a recording device, as we're using it at the moment, or if you're going into straight into a kind of like very clean sounding amp, if you want a bit more flavour, this is a kind of one pedal that will give you two different kind of sounds that you can kind of tune.
That's great, because for someone like me who records at home with a bass guitar, a pedal like this is wicked, because I don't need an amp. I go straight from the DI into my computer and I can get that kind of amp blend with distortion quite easily. So one box would sort you out. Yes,
indeed. So then this is the bypass tone, Ibanez by itself basically.
That is extremely low.
It is. It's very low. Drop A to be exact. That's
low.
Yeah.
All right. So where should we start?
So I think first of all, let's just engage the pedal without any drive and just see what the kind of EQs adding to it. It's actually quite clever because of the way that the mids are working, the low mid and the high mid with the selected frequencies. It might be that you've had to sort of turn down some frequencies to be exact with the low mids or the high mids,
right? And
actually affecting the attack and the grunt can then compensate on some of those frequencies to round it all off again.
Nice.
That kind of makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
It probably makes sense, Dave.
Cool.
Right then, I'm gonna turn it on whilst Dave's playing and have a little mess around with the knobs. That is extremely effective.
It is. Quite a powerful EQ there.
It really is, and I'm not sure if it's active or passive in terms of EQ, but it is quite effective. So, I mean, that would suggest to me that it's active, but then again, that's something to be determined at this stage.
It is a good way. We're not going to mess around with the master too much, but a good way to tell quite often is an active EQ. When the level goes down, it should stay very consistent.
Right. Okay.
So that tends to sort of help me work out.
It's always good having a Dave around for these kind of questions. So as you could see on the close-up cam, I was messing with the toggle switches, messing with the sort of low mids and high mids, which in fairness is something I love about the Darkglass stuff, and I have known about for a while, is that they're really sort of emphasising the use of mid-range, and it's something I talk a lot about in my guitar sounds and videos, and
it's stuff that I've talked about in clinics and stuff like that before as well. Like
mid is so important.
It really is. Getting the mids the relationship between the bass and the guitar and mids is really key, but also I think a lot of bass players tend to kind of like just scoop them all out, and they just want a lot of fat and a lot of top and nothing in the mids, and it doesn't help anything. It sounds fun at home. It's the equivalent of a guitarist having a bedroom tone.
Yeah, totally.
But actually learning how the mids work and how it affects the way the bass is in terms of dynamics and percussion and stuff is really key. Particularly
in rock and metal, from our experience being band together for so many years, is that when you've got the two sort of MIDI tones, as long as you get them in the right area of the frequency spectrum, with the right amount of low end from Dave and I suppose the right amount of high end from me, then you just get the full spectrum.
Yeah, they kind of lock together and they cross over. They literally, it's like a crossover.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's quite difficult, particularly if we're having a good day and we're playing really tight.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to hear what sound's coming from each amp,
Yeah. Right, so at this point, I reckon we just sort of even out the EQ section, and then I kick in the distortion, and we'll see what kind of filth we can get out of this thing.
Sounds good.
All right. Bloody hell.
Again, very versatile and very aggressive, isn't it? You can be very punchy.
Do you know what's interesting is that the grunt switches for your low and high mids, the grunt and the attack is mega effective. Yeah. Because they're both three-way toggle switches, and moving between the two, you can either have a really kind of backed off, but it's a thick sound, or it can be really, really punchy. And also, it's worth pointing out that we specifically decided to use a 5-string so that you could hear how it would react with such a low tuning. Yeah. I mean, A is pretty damn low.
Yeah, in some of the other examples that we're going to be doing, the sort of bass in context, I guess, with some drum tracks, you'll hear it with a 4-string.
Yeah. And in fairness, again, this is the cool thing about this pedal, is that because you've got the two sides, you've got the sort of amp side and then the distortion side, if you put that in front of an amp, I mean, you could use this straight into a PA if you wanted to, but if you put it in front of an amp, then you've got that extra layer of versatility from your tone because you've got the amp as well.
Yeah.
Whether or not the sound tech takes a DI or not is another case, but in terms of how useful this one box is, I mean,
as in that example, I guess with an amp, you've essentially got then 3 tones that you can be playing with. So you could have your amp kind of dialed in with the mids a bit scooped for a kind of slap sound.
Yeah.
And then you could step on your amp section in this and then kind of re-change the EQ to have that mid presence for your clean sound, and then stomp on the drive to get a more crunchy pushed or distorted sound. And flick between the two.
One thing I do want to try is if we can find a way of using both channels and find the right kind of blend to hear a nice little bit of slap, if you don't mind. Awesome.
Same bass, different bass.
I reckon swap basses.
Swap basses?
Yeah.
Cool.
Wicked. Right, Dave's got his MLB1.
I do.
And we're going to try and dial in some slap tonage whilst you have a go at playing slap.
Have a go at playing slap.
Well, there you go. I think, you know, in the 30 seconds that we were messing around, I think that was quite a decent slap tone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously you could spend a while tweaking it further, and also obviously we could be playing with the EQ section on the bass and all that other stuff as well. But yeah, definitely, it doesn't take long to get a usable sound out of this pedal.
No, very, very versatile. I mean, I'm really impressed. And, you know, as I said before in other videos where I've played, well, the other one video I've played bass on my channel, I'm not a bass player. Dave is very much a bass player. This pedal is £359, and you can get it from Anderton's Music Co. There's all sorts of other places you could buy it, but in the UK, if you're around my area, you can go to Anderton's. And, yeah, you should definitely check it out. What do you reckon?
I agree.
What do you think?
Check it out.
No, I mean, what do you think of the pedal?
No, yeah, pretty much what you said, really. It's great. It's horrendously versatile, very useful. It's a very good place to start if you haven't got into the realm of pedals yet, and you're looking for something that's not too difficult and it's going to be easy to get many usable sounds out of, and for recording at home and stuff like that. You know, throw it in your rucksack or in your gig bag, head round to your mates and cut some demos with it, and it'll sound great.
Well, there you go. And lastly, it is a really nice looking pedal as well. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Dave, for coming down and playing some bass on one of the videos on my channel. And thank you, Darkglass, for sending this gear over. So, yeah, if you want to find out anything else, we'll put the links in the description box. And, yeah, I've been Rabea.
Dave.
See you later.